sir. Ooh, yes, sir. Ooh, yes, sir. Okay. Hey, Calvin, freestyle real quick. Go.
Hey, check it. I'm out.
I'm
How y'all doing, baby?
What's
It is
good?
the Whiskey Conversation Podcast. We are back for another week. Fellas, how y'all doing?
I'm good, man. No complaints.
Everybody good?
Everybody is fine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You got your you got your pocket square this week.
Yep.
Making sure.
Yeah. See, I knew y'all was gonna clam me if I didn't have one, so I ran back and got one because I didn't have one.
But you don't have overalls on, so you're really good right now.
I'm good. I'm better than Mike.
Really good.
I'm better off than Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, but y'all know how we do it. We're gonna start this episode off with a toast. We don't have whiskey,
But we got the
We're
wine.
gonna be distinguished with the wine.
Come on, classy.
Jacob, what we toasting to?
Oh, I'm Calvin this week.
Yep.
All right. We're toasting to the topic, the mystery topic, whatever that may be.
We haven't had a mystery topic in a while, so this is going to be good.
Time. So we actually don't know the topic of this show right now.
Disclaimer, Jacob and I know nothing what's about to go down. This man himself has it, so
but I'm
it's going
excited.
to be interesting. It's going to be good.
It's gonna be a good show.
And before we forget, definitely like, comment, subscribe. If you want us to talk about anything, definitely drop it down in the comments.
Please.
Hit that bell notification so these come directly to you. Support us. It really means a lot.
Thank you.
you. How was y'all 4th of
4th of July?
How was y'all July 4th?
What's the difference?
I didn't even
Okay.
celebrate it. I didn't celebrate it. So I literally binge watched Stranger Things the
Okay.
entire day.
Okay.
I left the house twice. I think once to get a bottle of wine, and the second time was to pick up a pizza. That was it.
You having your weight and exhale moment?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I told y'all every week. So that was the only 2 times I left, and I binge watched. Like I finished the season that day. Like I watched all 8 episodes.
That's a binge watch on another level.
Hey, listen.
Like, you okay?
Listen.
You okay?
I didn't do nothing. No pool parties. No barbecue. None of that.
Mr. Grillmaster over here with a towel thrown over his
Not
shoulder.
everybody can hop on the grill and grill the meat to the people's satisfaction.
True.
The true grill master can.
Yep.
Okay, if the grill master.
You talking about somebody else?
No, I'm talking about myself.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My barbecue is well documented. Okay.
Do you have
Okay.
leftovers?
Huh?
Do you have any leftovers?
Yes, I do. But that's going for lunch.
There we go.
That's going for lunch.
He knew where that was going. He was cutting you down
Few
quick.
wings.
Yep.
Any others? So we here. First, I want to shout out Brian and Mike. As y'all can see, they not here. So we down to 3 today. But 3 is probably going to be good for today's conversation.
Oh, for sure.
Today's conversation. But before we get in the main topic, it's July. What's it? July 6th right now.
6,
6?
7.
Yep. Six.
So we midway in the summer, somewhat.
Yeah.
August.
Yeah.
So
Not ready for
there's
it.
this
Still not
dispute.
ready for it.
Austin may not know this dispute, but it's a dispute going
You already
on.
calling me out like that?
Hey, city
Yeah,
boys
fine.
versus
It's
city
okay.
girls.
Ooh.
The dispute is saying that the city boys are winning the summer by a landslide.
Okay. Okay.
What's your take on the city boys versus city girls?
So here's my thing. Like just this weekend on Instagram, I scrolled past 60 captions that said city girl summer or hot girl summer. When I tell you I'm so sick of hearing that shit. Now, hold on though, right? You got to understand, and I was just having this conversation. Everybody is not a hot girl. Everybody can't have a hot girl summer. There need to be some kind of qualifications.
Jacob over here doing a say it with your chest.
No, I'm saying though, there got to be an initiation. Like Megan Thee Stallion
Oh my God.
has to come up with a criteria to be a hot girl. Because everybody can't have a hot girl summer.
Wow.
And if they can, then we can too. I'm having a hot boy summer, a city boy summer.
Do you know what a hot boy, hot girl, city girl summer is?
If you have to ask, assume that I don't know. So let's go.
So pretty much, it's pretty much a summer where the boy or the girl. At first, let's start with the girls. You got the
Okay.
city girls, which is a group. So
Okay.
now all the girls want to be city girls. Then you have Meg Thee Stallion, which is a rapper. She has her like the Beehive. She
Okay.
has the hot girls.
Hot
Okay.
girl
The
shit.
hot girls.
So it's like a club, essentially.
So yeah, but
Okay.
it's a club based on a lot of ratchet, thoughtish
It's a ratchet
activity.
club.
Yeah, it's a ratchet club. So that's like been the
Are
battle.
you just dancing around the word hoe right now, or what are you?
No, it's not that.
No,
Okay.
no,
That-
I won't say that.
Just ratchet
Okay,
activity.
just
ratchet.
clarification.
Yeah,
No,
just
just
ratchet activity.
very ratchet activity.
Yeah.
Okay, so borderline. That's what I'm
So
hearing.
the thing is, it started off as the city girls and Megan having this club for the women.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't last but probably 3 weeks before the guys took over. It's like, oh, city boys, hot boys. And so now
Okay.
they competing to see who can do the most ratchet activity or finesse the most. So now
Doesn't sound good.
the season,
good.
we mid-season. This is the All-Star break. 4th of July is the All-Star break.
For sure.
Okay.
And so right now the city boys seem to have a better record than the city girls out of finessing the women more than the women have been able to finesse the men.
Okay. So, by the way, Mike is watching right now, and he just commented, nah, they don't want to be city girls anymore. They're all in jail and pregnant.
Right.
Wow.
Everybody
Okay.
want to be a city girl until it's time to be a city girl.
They killed the momentum. So
Okay.
now the city boys have taken off on fast break layups and dunks for the remainder of the game.
For
Okay.
sure. For sure.
So it's just, it's interesting. It's
So
interesting.
it's basically just a season of being extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break it down
But I
like
do
that.
find it funny how the girls did have, like they had their little club, and then the boys just like took it clean over.
So where does, because we talked about this before during our cuffing season episode. By the way, if you haven't seen that, go check it out before and check out another videos and like, subscribe. Do it again, #plug. Anyway, where does sundress season come into this?
Well, it is sundress
Oh, it's
season.
sundress season
It's sundress season right now.
Soon
But
as it get hot.
But the thing,
Okay.
and I gave you this tutorial when we was talking about when we
You
was
did.
talking
You
about
broke it
cuffing
down. You
season.
made it very simple for me. I appreciate
So what's
that.
gonna happen? What's gonna happen in the midst of this city girl, hot girl summer? Girls gonna be living their best life. Okay,
For sure.
They're gonna be living their best life from June.
All
Well,
the
with
way
Dallas,
probably
you
about
can go to like
I was about to say
September.
September.
With
Yeah.
Dallas, you can go to September.
Yep.
What's gonna happen mid-September is the girls that's been, hot girls and city girls all summer.
Okay.
You're gonna start to hear men ain't shit, guys ain't shit, all guys dogs.
Okay.
Because they've been doing city girl, hot girl activity all summer.
Okay.
And now it's time to get cuffed for the fall. So that's when we go into cuffing season, because
Okay.
at that point, your city girl activity now kept you from getting cuffed.
Okay.
So now, see, it's just a revolving door. The same
Okay.
thing happened every year.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure.
It happens every year.
This is what I will say, though. I think that women are a lot better at finessing than men.
Oh, definitely.
Like, women
they're
are
smarter.
the ultimate
Definitely.
finessers. Like, I've never seen a woman pay to get in anywhere. I've never seen a woman pay for her own drinks. I've never seen that before. Like, women, they will play the game. They know exactly what to do to get a free meal, get a free drink. Like, they will play you as long as they need to get what they need.
I saw an article
Men
came out.
cannot finesse that way.
I saw an article came out, and I think it was talking about like millennial women, but it was saying like the majority of them typically go out on dates just to get a free meal, and that's just the culture for now, predominantly with
City girls.
It's
The
the
city
actual
girls
thing.
out here.
It's the actual thing.
making
So,
City
sense.
girls
making
out here.
sense.
I don't know if we can beat them in that. I
I was out with my girl for her birthday, and there was 5 of her friends, and we were in Deep Ellum, and we were going to a spot. They literally, I'm walking to the back of the line.
Straight up.
They literally walked and stopped midway at the line and just stood in front of other people.
Yeah.
And just walked in front.
Yeah.
My girl's like, come on. I'm like, I ain't about to, y'all go ahead.
Yeah.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. But it's just, I will say women are way better finessers than men.
They are.
By far better finessers.
For sure.
But when it comes to the shits,
Oh,
men are better
they
with
can't
the
hang.
shits.
They can't
And
hang.
I think that's where the city girl, city boy, hot boy, summer collide, and that's why men win. I think all women want to be savages or give off this savage mentality until
it's time to get active.
until a hot boy or city boy
Yeah.
come in with the even more savage
It's time
mentality.
to get active. Come on.
So, I think we being well represented. This is my first summer. Not on the team. But I think
Your
the city,
first cuff to
Yeah,
somewhere.
this is my first summer not on
Yeah,
the
let's
team.
make it clear, ladies, that this man right here is cuffed. So
Hey,
He's
my,
cuffed now.
this is my first summer not on the scene, but I'm happy that the fellas were representing and not letting the women just run away
Oh, for sure.
with this effort this year. This is
For
beautiful.
sure.
This is beautiful.
So, before we get into today's topic and we get into the Say It With Your Chest, let's just give a huge shout out to our sponsor today. All right, so our sponsor for today's show is Destination Shoe Shine.
Thank you.
So Destination Shoe Shine, this is actually a friend of mine. His name is Mr. Billingsley. He shines my shoes. he shines Mike shoes. If you need shoe repair, if you need shoe taps, like this is literally the man for the job. They do a bag service where you can actually pick your shoes up. He will pick your shoes up. He will clean them, polish them, or again, repair them and drop them back off to you. If you want to take it a step further, then he can even come to your home or office, right? He hosts events. He has a mobile chair, and he gives an executive experience is what he calls it.
He's a great guy, too. Had a good conversation
really,
with him.
really good guy. He is really trying to build his business here in Dallas, Texas. He is local and homegrown. You can find him on IG. Just search Destination Shoe Shine. And again, his name is Mr. Billingsley. So shout out to our sponsor for this episode.
I will say he dropped some shoes off for Jacob and Mike last week, 2 weeks ago.
Last week, yeah.
Them things were shining. You can definitely see your reflection in the leather.
I thought it was a new pair. I thought they just gave you some new shoes.
Mike pigeon-toed, so his had an extra crease.
Pigeon-toed and bow-legged.
Pigeon-toed and bow-legged, so
They
his
had
was like
extra
extra
fold.
crease.
Yeah,
Mike's
extra
shoes
lean.
was leaning like this. I was like, okay, yeah, he did a good job. He just can't. You can't do nothing about opposing.
You can't take out those creases.
Can't take out those creases, dog.
His shoes wear out in the front first, not the back.
Like
They wear out in the front
like with Air Force and Jordans, how they sell that thing that keep it from creasing.
For sure.
That's what Mike need in his shoes
Oh,
to
oh,
balance
yeah.
out.
My
To balance out.
Mike, you need shoe trees at all times.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
At
You
all
need
times.
Oh,
you need some support in your shoes, Mike.
Mike just commented, "I'm weak," so that's our first one for the day. So
I'm dead.
So we gave y'all humor. My say it with your chest, which is gonna lead into the topic for today, isn't really as humorous.
It's serious.
It's a serious one. It's a serious one.
Okay.
So
Take your time, preacher.
I am. My say it with your chest, and I feel that we can have these conversations just because we've had them before on this podcast. We don't shy away from topics. We embrace each other's standpoints, viewpoints, and things like that. My say it with your chest comes from that I am tired of the fake white oppression. And what I mean by that is the Little Mermaid issue that is very prevalent in society, to where the cartoon Little Mermaid, which most of us grew up on, I've never seen it as a kid. I never watched it. It just wasn't my movie.
Hey, bro, you got to grow up.
I wasn't interested. It was a princess movie. I didn't care. Okay, I watched Lion King and Aladdin. They're remaking a live-action movie of The Little Mermaid. Ariel in the movie is white with red hair. The live action is going to be a black young lady. Her name is Hallie. I can't remember the last name. But
she is stunning, by the way.
she is very,
Beautiful
very
woman.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
They are putting her as Ariel in this live action movie. And there's been some backlash in regards to that by some white people in America as saying that they are not representing Ariel correctly how she should be represented. Ariel should not be a black woman. There has even been a picture that has came out that shows Ariel as a black woman with buck teeth sitting on top of a watermelon. And there is a Facebook campaign that says, "Make Ariel white again." And so with that, my say it with your chest comes from the one character that is put as black out of centuries of characters being profiled as white to where they aren't even white. We can go, you've never seen a black Santa Claus in mainstream television. You have to go to a black area to see a black Santa Claus. You never see any geographical reference to the actual geographical. If you do a movie in Egypt or you do a movie in Africa or whatever the case may be, you're always seeing white people. Any biblical movie, there's always been white people. They're not, Middle Eastern people. It's always white people.
And
with Jesus is white. Geographically, that does not make sense.
he was not white. He was an Arab.
I'm saying how it's portrayed.
Oh, absolutely.
So I feel that I find it kind of funny how Ariel has Little Mermaid has no cultural reference. She's simply a fish. A fish. She can be black. She can be white. She can be Hispanic. She a fish. But the fact that she's now put as black, and the white culture seems to take that as a hit on their existence or their childhood or their culture in a sense, I find it absolutely retarded. I find it stupid. And I find it that, I mean, all this is happening after the 4th of July. Everybody wants everybody to have a certain pride about America, but then you still have this stigmatization that's put on black people in America that they can't do certain things. So that's my say with your chest. I got more to say, but I want to leave the floor open for you two to comment on however you feel.
Austin, you want to go first or you want me to take it?
Yeah, I'd love to. Honestly, I mean, as a white man seeing this, I think it's stupid. I don't have an issue with a black Ariel. I mean, my only comment on that is, like, I grew up knowing the white redhead Ariel, and, like, I prefer redheads. And so I'm like, she's beautiful. That's what I gravitate towards. So it's different.
On a lighter note, Austin does like redheads.
I do.
In real life.
In real life.
In real life.
Yeah. So, but, like, when I see a black redheaded Ariel, I'm like, all right, it's different. But, again, that's not anything against her. She's beautiful. That actress is absolutely stunning. The fake oppression, I would agree with you on that, because, I mean, as white people, specifically in America, I mean, we've got it so easy. We're really quick to be offended, and we try to make ourselves very comfortable. So, you know, we're not comfortable with Arabic people. I'm not going to say for the majority, but there are some people. I don't know the percentage, but they're just uncomfortable. It's like, oh my gosh, you're Arabic. I don't know how to deal with you. Well, if you believe in Jesus, you got to believe in the Arabic Jesus, because he grew up in Jerusalem. He wasn't a white, perfectly sculpted
blonde
guy. Yeah, like it actually says in the scriptures that he wasn't attractive to men. Like, he wasn't a good-looking guy. So you're forcing him into something that he truly wasn't. So with this, I mean, America, I believe, was founded on what it's supposed to be founded on was, you know, diversity, where freedom, people can believe and follow what they want to, and they're welcome to. That's what's portrayed, but what has been followed through, like, unfortunately, racism has been a part of our history.
For sure.
And that wasn't right. No one is advocating it's like, oh, well, let's bring it back. Mm-hmm. Why? They weren't even treated as humans. And so when the culture, as you know, you guys have mentioned it before, that when the culture basically fights back, or just like, hey, let's, you know, let there be a black Ariel or more black politicians where you understand the culture better, you know, we take it as oppression. For me, I mean, I don't take it really as oppression in that area. Not to necessarily bring devil's advocate into this, but a different perspective is, I will say that guys similar to me have a sort of oppression. A white Protestant male is considered the enemy for a lot of people. People just label white Protestant males as an enemy, like, oh, you don't support women, or you're against black people, or whatever. People have viewed that as an enemy. So I haven't experienced that firsthand, so I'm not going to claim that. Like, I'm beginning to understand your culture better. And so, I mean, I didn't even look down on it in the first place. I didn't understand it because I wasn't really around it. And so,
you don't know what you don't know, bro.
Exactly. And so, yeah, with this, if people are saying, oh, you know, we're oppressed by there being a black Ariel, grow up. It's a movie. Like, it was a story. And, like, the Disney story isn't even the real,
it's not the real story.
It's not the real story. So if you look it up, it's terrible. So it's a black Ariel. Come on. Like, what's the big deal about that?
So I'm about to take this a few different places. And I'm about to offend some people, but I don't care because I'm drunk.
Just mean it.
And when I'm drunk, I speak
You ain't
freely.
even been drinking the 18%?
Come on now. Yeah, no, this is stronger than that.
What is that?
It's Riesling.
Is that Riesling? Oh, okay.
That's not strong.
It's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was Riesling.
13%, same as yours.
Okay.
But, you know, we halfway through the bottle at this point.
Say what you gotta say.
Yeah,
we did not pregame before the episode. Let's just clarify that right now.
And I have to, again, like, the reason mine will be so long is because I got to touch on some things you said and some things that you said. So I think I first and foremost want to say that this is not the first time this has happened, right? Like, this is not the first time that a black person has been cast for a role that has been predominantly white.
When they made
and
Idris
white people
Elba,
have gotten upset.
James Bond.
Yeah, James Bond in 007. I don't even know if y'all saw that new SpiderMan movie, which is animated. It's like called Spider-Verse.
Are you talking about Spider-Universe and Spider-Man, black kid?
Yeah, black kid from Brooklyn. Like they've
So
done
was
this.
he a Spider-Man or was he like a sidekick?
No, he was Spider-Man.
Okay, I was
He
thinking he was a
Spider-Man.
side. I didn't watch it, so I didn't really know.
Yeah, it was actually really good. It was
Okay.
funny. So
I've
you
heard
should-
it was really,
you should
really
check
good.
it out. But like again, that has happened time after time after time. When they cast Childish Gambino in Star Wars, right? It's continued to happen throughout the years, right? And so, although people are upset right now, it will pass. It will pass.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there
It's
were
just
a lot
something
of
new for people to
yeah,
make fun of.
something new. Like, there were a lot of people that were mad when Will Smith got cast as the genie in Aladdin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
find me a blue
and
human
I feel
being.
like he played that role better than anybody else could have.
Yeah.
Like, that role was made.
Easy Robin Williams
No,
is the
he's
pinnacle
talking
on that.
about could have, like, as present.
Oh,
Just
okay,
everybody
okay.
now.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
everybody now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that role was made for him, and a lot of people were upset by that. And so, I think that, people will be upset, but people will get over it.
Yeah.
So when we rewind back, right, to the whole, July 4th thing, I think unconsciously the reason I didn't celebrate the 4th of July is because although that was America's Independence Day, we were still slaved, right? Mm-hmm. Which is why we celebrate Juneteenth, right? Which is when we got our freedom and our emancipation. So, I feel like we've already had our holiday. This to me is just a day off, literally. But the other side to that is that I do think that America, as far as opportunity is concerned, is probably like the best place to be.
Yeah, you can't really beat it. And it's not
you
saying it's
can't-
it's all. I mean, it's
It's
still
far
jacked
from
up.
perfect, but it's legitimately like the land of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it, you can get it here. There are some other countries where even if you want it, you can't get it, right? And so, going back to that, I think America influences the culture around the world. But I also think that American culture is black culture.
Unpack that statement a little more.
But no, I'm glad you said that because that ties into my next statement of, not next statement, but my next thought around this. And if you look at the whole Ariel going from a white mermaid to a black mermaid, and you look at the outrage that it's had from white America, I laugh at it because white America seems to forget that back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, there were a lot of black singers and a lot of black artists who sang songs to only have white faces put on their album cover because they couldn't sell those in stores because they were black, or they would have to sing songs and then give them to white artists in order for the white artists to sing and then use their songs. If you look at hip-hop, well, not even hip-hop, we can go back. If you look at jazz,
Blues.
you look at blues, you look at rock and roll,
We started
those
that
are all
shit.
things that black people started.
We started that shit.
And it somehow got taken over. You look at hip-hop, and this kind of goes back to, I was kind of thinking on this when we talked about Lil Nas or Nas X, whatever his name is. About Old Country Road, and how white people
Old Town
said
Road.
Old Town Road. And white people be like, well, that's not country. That's not country music. But if you look at hip-hop, you got the Beastie Boys and you got all these white artists
For sure.
who we could say, well, that's not rap music, that's not hip-hop music. But
I would never even consider the Beastie Boys hip hop.
But other people would.
True.
But
Yeah.
other people would. So I feel like, not conflicted, but I feel upset because when it comes to music and the culture, we black people continue to exhibit culture, give culture, and we embrace other people inside of our culture. But if we go to tap into another culture, then it's banned too. You black guy doing country music or a black guy mixing country and hip hop, nah, that's not how we do it. There was this meme that had it was a meme, and it was like Billy Ray Cyrus goes to the BET Awards, Lil Nas X, oh, he good, he cool with me. And then they put it in reverse. They have Billy Ray Cyrus brings Lil Nas X to the CMT Awards, and Billy Ray says he's cool, he with me, and he gets a side eye. Like, I feel that when it comes to culture and when it comes to, I don't even want to say acceptance, 'cause I don't think that we fight to be accepted. Like, you either gonna take us for who we are, but when it comes to ingratiation,
I'll unpack that.
Nobody wants to ingratiate black people as black people ingratiate other people into our culture.
Now, on the comment of the country, like I've grown up in country music and that type of culture. I mean, like the first person that comes to mind is like Darius Rucker. You think of Darius Rucker's music compared to Lil Nas, it's completely different, and you think Darius Rucker, you're like, oh, that's actually country music, because there's something to it's the structure of the music. It's behind like the words behind it. It's just it's a lifestyle. But with
Lil Nas X, was it now a lifestyle? I'm going to take my horse to the Old Town Road and going to ride till I can't. Like that sounds. That has all the banter and the twang and the tune of a country song.
Yeah, but it had like the country loop on it. And there's even like white country artists who are taking in that kind of rap, click, click, snap, like that kind of hip hop music, and they're trying to bring it into country. And it's just not a good mix. I don't care if you're white or black. It doesn't blend. It's like, if you're hip hop, be hip hop. If you're country, be country. And again, this is me as I would say consumer listening to country music. It's not, well, you're black, you need to stay out of it. It's not what country is. Now, of course, country has developed. If you listen to country in the 60s compared to country now, it's completely different. And yeah, it is going to develop, but like I said, my issue with Lil Nas is that it was a hip hop structured song with a country twang with the same similar loop. So that was my issue with that. Like I said, coming from the country background, like, okay, you know what country is. There's old country and there's new country. There's Nashville country, like that kind of thing. And like even with, for example, Florida Georgia Line, like that's not country. That's a pop, like kind of covered by a country something. I mean, that's really what it is.
Right. But I think, to your sentiment though about what's not country, what is country, I think like it's hard for we as black people to say, well, to hear someone say that's not country when you have white singers, whatever the case may be, that we've made put in an R&B classification and have not second guessed, like with Justin Timberlake. To me, Justin Timberlake pop. NSYNC,
yeah, that's
all pop.
That's pop.
But we as black people have ingratiated that into the culture. I'm going to touch on that aspect as well. Yeah. But we keep ingratiating people into the culture and say, okay, that's R&B, or okay, that's rap, or okay, yeah, this is jazz, or whatever the case may be. And we don't want to say, well, nah, that's not that. That doesn't sound like R&B. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like a slap in the face when you have somebody that makes a song. There's nobody rapping about horses or riding on Old Town Road or anything like that in hip hop music. And then he has like one of the biggest country singers on the song,
right? And
it still doesn't give it valid. And Billy Ray Cyrus rapping more about what hip hop people rap about than Lil Nas is. Billy Ray Cyrus rapping about a Lambo or something in the car. He's being more superficial with his lyrics than Lil Nas is.
I don't think Billy Ray Cyrus has been country in a while. I really don't think he has.
But in his,
let's circle
but
back,
you're gonna put him under his discography. You're gonna put country
in the past, yes, but like recently,
because he's not popular at all. We got to circle back to the actual topic, because I feel like now we're talking about country and hip hop and the fusion, right? Let's circle back to the actual issue at hand.
Well, that was just my say with my chest, but the actual overall topic is ingratiation and appropriation.
Oh, I'm gonna take
culture.
it there. Yeah, I'm gonna take it there. So, number one, and I'm gonna say this again, and it's because I mean what I say and I say what I mean. Black people set the tone in America, and we have since it started, right? So, before we were here, the Moors were here. They set the tone, right? So the same way, people are taking the culture now, people have been taking our culture since the beginning of time. So when it comes to fashion, we set the tone. When it comes to music, we set the tone. When it comes to style, design, we set the tone. Like, we have been the ones to have our pulse on, what's hot, what's new, what's trendy. Like, there are some things that black people have been doing for years, right, that will eventually gain popularity with another culture. But the reason I said that is to say there are a lot of, communities out there and people out there that want to do what we do but don't want to be us, right? So they want to take the style, they want to take the music, they want to take the culture, but they don't want to be black, right? For sure. There's a big difference between the two. So I think that, we really have to look at, and again, to your point, because this is all about being accepted, right? We are continuously trying to be accepted in a system that wasn't built for us, right? And so we continue to try and get into, other cultures, other communities, and, we're facing constant rejection, but it's because those systems weren't built for us. So, to your point, we talked about like slavery wasn't a good thing, right? The civil rights movement, that happened. That wasn't that long ago. Like, my mom was born in 1960, right? MLK was assassinated in 68.
68.
So, like, my mom grew up in the civil rights movement. My mom, not my grandmother, not my great-grandmother. Like, my mom grew up during the civil rights movement. So my mom told me stories about going places to eat, and there was a white entrance and colored entrance. She remembers going to stores, and there was a white fountain and color fountain. That was not that long ago. Right? Jim Crow was not that long ago. And so I feel like although we've came a long way, like, we still have a long way to go. So I know there are a lot of men that listen to this podcast, right? So let's just reference like a video game. So you got a PlayStation and you got an Xbox, right? Two different systems. You got a PlayStation, you got an Xbox. Let's just say the PlayStation is the black community, and the Xbox is the white community or every other community. We have for years been trying to get this PlayStation game
to work on the Xbox,
to work inside of Xbox. It will never work unless you go in, you know what I'm saying, change the system, switch some wires, make it backwards compatible. Either way it goes, you'll have to do a lot of work to that system for it to accept the PlayStation game, right? Like, we have been constantly trying to get this game to work in a system that wasn't made for us. And that's why there's always so much rejection. Every single time there will be.
So are you saying on basically the white or any other culture outside of a black community, that whole thing needs to change, or can there be a collaboration where we both work together?
No, I don't. That's the thing that nobody knows. People don't know because there are two sides to the coin. Some people say play the system, right? Play the game, and then some people say create your own system, create your own game. And I think there needs to be a combination of both.
And the thing is, to your point, I don't think it's more so of the black community trying to force its way into
a
community.
I think force aspect is what.
It's not force.
Not force. I don't think.
But we
I don't think we necessarily. I think there's an effort. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think there's like a continuous trying.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I think the problem comes, and I think like we keep getting slapped in the face because. And me and one of my good friends, we had to talk about this. Like, I get so tired of the invite him to the picnic black people. I get so tired of that. And what I mean by that, for those who don't know, those are the black people who, let's say, Austin can dress well in a suit, whatever the case may be. He's white, looks very good, everything like that. You may have a female that likes, hey, you need to invite him to the barbecue, meaning the black inner circle. Or you may have a white guy that can dance good, or you have Justin Timberlake who can sing good, or you may have a white guy that can rap. Like, any person that's white that does something that's out of the ordinary that a black person can do, we highlight that
Naturally.
more than putting them on the same level playing field as the black person always saying, hey, invite them to the cookout, invite them to the barbecue, like as in invite them to the culture versus if you look at from a historical context, Venus and Serena came on the scene playing tennis. They didn't get invite them to the clubhouse or invite them to the country club. White people continually tried to get them kicked out of tennis and continued to try to manipulate their game because they didn't think two black girls from Compton needed to be in tennis.
Talk about
it's
it.
the same way Tiger Woods. White people did not like a
Every
black
sport.
man. And even though I'm not a Tiger Woods fan because Tiger Woods said he doesn't want to be identified as black, so I'm not a Tiger Woods fan, so I get that
We traded
disclaimer. But even when Tiger Woods came on the scene, white golfers did not want Tiger Woods doing all that stuff that he was doing, breaking records, beating all these great white golfers and winning all these Masters. If you look at
It was not long ago.
it's not long
this
ago
stuff
at all.
is recent.
Like if you look at Jackie Robinson, when Jackie Robinson first came into Major League Baseball, he was a good baseball player. There was a reason there was a Negro League because white people did not want to ingratiate black people into a sport no matter how good they were. But we as black people keep putting white people that can do the same thing that we can do on this higher pedestal and give them a higher like classification than just the normal black person. I think that's where people keep getting a slap in the face or keep like seeing like y'all need to stop doing that because black people are never put on a pedestal in white America's eyes. Black people are never elevated higher than the average white person in white America's eyes. But black people continue to put name me one black person that has in white America that has been put above white America.
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like sports. I mean, you guys run that.
Sports and
Well, I mean but that's just. I mean,
But that's a big thing. That's a big part of American
but
culture. You
if-
think of LeBron, you think of Michael, you think of LL Cool J, you think of God, what's the guy who's married to Beyonce?
Jay-Z?
Jay-Z. I
Hey,
mean,
chill out.
Okay,
No disrespect.
but
No
again,
offense.
okay, tapping into Jay-Z.
There you go.
If we tapping into Jay-Z, we tapping into basketball. Basketball and hip-hop are predominantly black and ran by black. So if you
because
get
white boys can't jump.
teams.
if you get
You're not talking
I'm
about
talking about
ownership.
players. I'm talking about players.
Right.
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
talking about
players because
ownership. Come on.
there's no black ownership
Yet.
really. So, but when you look at if we're gonna say Jay-Z, if you look at when Eminem came on the scene, like Eminem can rap his ass off. I give him that. Eminem is one of my like when we talk about bars. Eminem can rap his ass off.
He's a top 5 lyricist.
But the thing
sure.
is, when M came on the scene, black community was like, bring him to the kickout. They put M up here when you now had Jay-Z and all these rappers that's been doing this for years and are the top of our kilt. They putting him up here because for some reason, I don't know if black people are programmed to do that or because it looks different and we're not used to seeing that we put this person on a pedestal. But again, there's no black person that's put on a pedestal in America. None. Barack Obama was a whole president.
For sure.
And granted, I'm not arguing politics. Some people think he did good. Some people did bad.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not arguing that. I'm arguing from the standpoint of you have a black president, you have Venus and Serena killing in tennis, you have Tiger Woods killing in golf, you have Jackie Robinson in the Major League Baseball. Never once were any of those athletes put on initially. Tiger eventually got there. Like people pay to go see Tiger, but again, Tiger don't deem himself as black. But there was never once where these people were put on a pedestal in an all white environment or sport because white people did not want that to happen.
I'll take it, and then I want to get your response on this, right? So I had a teacher when I was in college who taught me what white privilege is. So I think we talked about that earlier, or at least mentioned it.
I think we had brushed up on it.
Yeah, what white privilege is. She told me, like, white privilege is the ability to, not only be unaware, but not have to ask certain questions. So when she phrased it that way, it made sense to me. So, so when we talk about oppression and when we talk about racism and when we talk about things like that, most white people are like, because you said it earlier, I'm learning a lot about y'all culture, right? And it's because you just
and I want to make it clear. I mean, I don't agree with every point, but there are
for
things
sure.
where I'm
but you were
understanding better that I didn't know before.
Yeah, 100%, because you weren't surrounded by it, like you said.
I mean, I grew up in Stephenville.
Yeah, it wasn't
Stephenville.
There's 4 black people there.
Yeah, and you don't know what you don't know. And so, you may have never had that conversation of when you get pulled over by the police, what to do. You may have never had that conversation of, when you walk down the street, this is what you should do, right? Like, there are some conversations that, black people and black families have that white people and white families don't have to, right? And that's the privilege. So, it's not the way we're treated per se, right? It's the conversations that we have to have and that
the
you
way
don't.
We're raised, yeah.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Well, hold on. What about the white dude who grows up in the hood and every time the cop gets behind him, the cop thinks, oh, this white guy, he's here to buy drugs, but unbeknownst to him, I live here.
Well, you're becoming, I'm trying to phrase it properly, you are...
Well, let's
no, you're becoming profiled because of the location that you're in.
So
Because
there is
But-
such thing.
if
but-
you're from the hood,
My butt cheeks still clench just as much as y'all guys do when the cop gets behind me, because I know the cop behind me going, is he here to buy drugs? No, dude, this is my neighborhood.
right? But
This is where I
again,
live.
if you see a cop, I think generally if a cop is in this lane and you driving here and he pulls up behind you, I think anybody is gonna get nervous
Anybody,
about that.
right?
But I think the conversation is had to where at age 7, me and my dad got pulled over. My dad had I remember the car. He had a old Buick Regal, old school car. Me and my dad were coming from a baseball game. Cop pulls my dad over, and again I'm 6 or 7 at this time, and he doesn't see me. So he pulls my dad over, takes his license, but he doesn't know I'm in the car until he walks over. And so he's not in his car for like 30 seconds. He comes back, and he just tells my dad, like, I just pulled you over. I need you to get your headphones off your rearview mirror. You pulled my dad over because of headphones on the rearview mirror. Probably because you were going to give him a ticket or question him about something else, but it was a 6-year-old boy in the front seat. And so at that age, I had to have a talk with my dad about what to do if a police ever pulls you over or why a police may pull you over. So I think that's something that growing up white, you guys don't have to really have that conversation. You don't.
How do you have a conversation and say, hey, if a cop pulls you over from leaving your house and you live in a lower class neighborhood,
Low income neighborhood.
Yeah, low income neighborhood, how do you go, no, I'm not buying drugs from there. I live there.
I got this. So, and Austin, you might appreciate this. So there is a such thing, and some people debate this, but there is a such thing as reverse racism, right? So, like you've mentioned multiple times on this show, there are some black people that only choose to work with black people.
Yep.
Straight up. Like, if I can have it my way, I would only work with people that look like me. I would only hire people that look like me. I would only serve people that look like me. There are a lot of people out there like that. A lot of people. And, some people say money is green. I will work with whoever, but a lot of people will say, like, I'm literally, even though I'm open to working with everybody, my focus is working on,
but that's
focusing
not
on black
reverse
people.
racism. If I'm open if I'm open to working with anyone.
Yeah.
If I'm open to working with anyone, but I choose to work with someone that's black.
You right.
More so.
Because that's what they do.
That's just empowerment.
That's what everybody,
because white people do the same thing. Now, if I'm saying
Asians, Jewish, they all do that.
If I come with the mindset of say, well, forget white people, forget Hispanics, forget everybody, and I'm just strictly.
Then that's racism. Okay.
But then again, as black people though, is it really racism if you've had that same treatment your whole life?
No.
But to Jedi's question though, I think with your situation, that may be a talk that your parents have to have, because again, you gotta realize the environment that you in. Because as a police officer, if in East St. Louis, Illinois, which is probably 98% black, if you see a white person driving around East St. Louis, Illinois at nighttime, they either there to buy drugs or they there to do something. Nobody goes into an inner city community at nighttime of the opposite race unless they're trying to do something. So
right, but
again, you're being profiled.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I grew up in Raleigh, Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
Predominantly black, like 90% black.
Yeah.
And if I go to Taco Bell, if I try to leave my house, go to Taco Bell, I get pulled over and the cops think I'm buying drugs from my own neighborhood.
But it's because you're being profiled because of the location that you're in.
Exactly. But that's what I'm just trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, it works. For sure. Exactly.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're being profiled because of that area. We can be profiled in our area,
everywhere,
going to the suburbs, going to another country.
Fair enough.
It's like
touche.
Like we don't necessarily get the break of
that's true.
I'm at home or I'm in the suburbs. Like you're gonna get pulled over more if you in a white area than anything, because like, what are you doing up here? You a black boy in the suburbs with these big houses. Why are you here?
Okay, hold on.
But hold on, let Austin.
Listen,
Austin ain't
that's
talk.
what I was
Austin
about to say.
Let Austin talk.
Like he been over there like, he flipping his hair, he's stroking his beard, he taking notes. I need to hear what Austin gotta say.
The issue is overgeneralization, and I really think it comes down to culture a lot. So when you had made the claim that that's reverse racism, I disagree with that point, because to me, I stand on the definition of racism.
I said it's not reverse racism.
You said it's not. Yeah.
I said it's not reverse racism.
Because we're accepting of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Racism is when you say, I will not do business with those people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there is a black person who says, I'm not doing business with this guy because he's white, or I'm only doing business with this guy because he's black, I think that is a form of racism. I don't think any side of that response is justified at all, whether you're white, Jewish, Hispanic, whatever.
If the world was a perfect place. If the world was perfect.
Right.
I
and
agree.
so I'm not advocating that this is right, wrong, and different. I don't think that if you are excluding somebody because of their race, culture, anything, that's racism. Mm-hmm. When it comes down to generalization, you had brought up the cops. I absolutely agree. As a black man, you deal with law enforcement differently than I do. Again, and I mentioned this before, coming from
Stephenville.
Well, not Stephenville. coming from the perspective as someone who has ridden with a police officer in East Arlington, which is a terrible spot in Arlington. Never live in East Arlington. It's terrible. He was driving by.
I bet it's cheap. I'm moving.
It's cheap for a reason.
I bet it's
cheap for a reason,
baby.
And so he was driving by and he was saying, there was a double murder here. There was a triple suicide here. There was this, there was that. I'm like, holy cow. And he wasn't saying like it was, there are these black people over here. There's this, there's that. Police officers, for the majority, when they're in the car and they run a plate, it's not African American. All right, let's pull them over. when the car's driving by, you can't see who it is. If it's driving slow, yeah, you can see it. But when someone's driving by and like they're going too fast, they're breaking the law. Are there bad cops who do
For sure.
who do things that make you uncomfortable as a black man? Absolutely, and that is not right. There needs to be there needs to be more things put into place to where that doesn't happen. My issue is the overgeneralization of saying all white people do this, all cops do this, all that. It really comes down to, like I said, the type of culture that you're in. If you're in Stephenville, you're not going to get pulled over because you're black. You're going to get pulled over for doing one over the speed limit because that's just what they do. They're really particular on the speed. I don't care who it is. If you're in a higher, I think if you're in a higher density area that there's a lot of black people, or if there's a lot of crime or whatever, I mean, that's a different culture. And so my response to all of this is saying, let's find those areas where it's targeting black people because they're black people, and let's change it from
That's the whole country.
within.
That's the whole country.
Okay, no, I
I'm
agree
not
with
gonna
him.
say
No,
there are pockets. Now, I'm not saying small. There's only small pockets. I'm not saying. My issue is the overgeneralization. It's like all of America is racist. All of
Okay.
America is
Right.
not racist.
So I get it.
I'm saying the areas that
me
are.
myself,
Let's change that.
I will never say all cops are bad.
Nope.
I'm gonna say cops are bad. I'm gonna say that
There are bad cops.
I'm gonna say that I'm worried about cops pulling me over. I'm not gonna say I'm worried about all cops. I will never say all or anything. But the thing is, until, and that's one reason why I respect Austin's point of view, because we're able to talk, we're able to have this conversation. But the thing is, until you've been pulled over by a white police officer multiple times for doing absolutely nothing and being questioned, where you going? Who are you? Is this your car? Yes, this BMW is my car. Yes, this Hyundai Genesis is my car. Why can I not have this car? I may have a tank top and some basketball shorts on. This is my car. Can I see your license and registration? All right, you have a good day. I don't get a ticket. I don't get a citation. I'm not speeding. So until someone has that type of interaction with me on a regular, or not even on a regular, on multiple occasions, it's kind of hard for them to tell you how to think and how to program your mind around law enforcement when that's all you've seen.
I'll give
and
you the
interacted with.
solution.
I would say your response of saying cops are bad, or if there's white people who
It's
are
all based
racist.
on
No,
experience.
How it
I'm
comes
not saying cops.
across.
There are cops.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying
like-
you're wrong
like
with that. I
with-
totally agree with
like
that.
with
What
any
I'm
cop,
saying,
if any cop pulls me over, I'm going to be nervous until he talks like those first 5 words. I need to see how his reaction is to me.
I absolutely hear you on that, Calvin, and I don't disagree with you at all. Where I think it's the delivery that comes across in a negative way. If you say cops are bad, instantly people assume, well, this guy's saying all cops are bad. If you're saying white people do this, all white people do this. I think that's our mindset. No matter who you are, it doesn't matter what color it is. It's the mindset of saying, when you say cops, or if you say this, I think there needs to be that word of, you know what, there are some black people who do this. There are some white people who do this. There's some cops who do this. So then you're not hitting a broad spectrum if you're like,
For sure.
okay, all cops are this. There's this particular group who is
Right.
doing this. We need to change that. So that's making it more specific, and that's honing in on the actual issue.
So
if
this-
you overgeneralize a culture, that's where there's a
But
negative
the thing
aspect.
is, though, black people are already overgeneralized.
I think that might be
that's
every
the
race,
thing.
though.
No. We're so much overgeneralized to where
We get marginalized.
Like a person, I've seen a person be afraid of being around me. Like when I'm not in the suit, I may have a tank top on, I may have a fitted, some shades, whatever the case may be. Like I've seen a person be afraid of being around. I've seen to where a cop has thought I've been involved in something, or I'm just this street ass dude. Like I've seen that. And I've seen my friends be in that same generalization. It's just the same way if we go back to culture. If you look at the 90s and 2000s, when baggy clothes was a thing, baggy clothes was a big thing.
Shit would get you shot and killed today.
That culture, there were some white people that wore FUBU, wore baggy clothes, had we never gonna talk about like the tees and the jeans. We're gonna talk about the big T-shirts or the caps or whatever the case may be. They're left alone because they're deemed, I'm talking from a kid standpoint, they're just kids in style, living through a fad, whatever the case may be. Versus I can have the same outfit on, I'm selling drugs, I'm doing some shit I shouldn't be doing. So it's kind of hard to hear, don't overgeneralize when that's all black people have been, is overgeneralized from day one.
We got to get to the root though. Let's just circle back. The reason that you feel the way you do and that you feel the way you do,
it's life experience,
is because, well, one, that's what I was going to say. It's
the
based
culture
on
that you grew up
experience
in?
And environment, for sure. You know,
And that's the scope you see it through.
they don't determine who we are, but they do shape us, our experiences and our environment, right? So you can grow up in the hood, you can make it out. You know what I'm saying? You can grow up oppressed, you can make it out. I'm not saying you can't, right? But my whole thing is the fact that, you know, black people, let me turn the camera. Black people don't own shit. That's my issue with black people. So I agree with what you said, because black people don't own a damn thing.
But that's not an issue with black people.
Oh,
when you got
no. Here's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna take it back to the PlayStation and Xbox reference, right? So black people are like, okay, let me put it in context. So I went to school close to you, Northern Illinois University, right? We had the highest police population in the state, right? There were only, between the DeKalb police, the NIU police, the county sheriff, the, you know what I'm saying, state police, whatever, there were only 3 black police officers. And so each and every time we got pulled over, it was a negative experience. Every single time. Every time. I'm going to give you the solution. But every time we got pulled over, the shit was a negative experience. Like, I could drive...
So you said in DeKalb there was only 3 police officers?
3 black police officers.
So the thing is...
They couldn't even get black people to apply.
But the thing is,
to be a
though,
police
the
officer.
thing is, because you gave this example maybe like 2 episodes ago, how do you know black people didn't apply? Do you work for the police? But do you work for the police department? Because I say that to say this is that people always say black people should do this, black people should that, black people should take more roles. I know for a fact there are black people that do try to take that initiative.
For sure.
But then you have this glass ceiling, and you have this machine that runs the whole operation that keeps them from getting into that door because they want their system to remain how it remains. Now, once every 5 years, we may let one of you in, but on a regular application, you don't meet this requirement.
And that's what I want to talk about.
You didn't pass this test.
That's what I want to talk about.
The thing is that I will never say black people don't try, because I know that black people do.
Some black people do.
But you have to be given the opportunity. It's just like with the NFL and the NBA. There's no black owners because they don't even give them an opportunity to be a black owner. Like, you have Jay-Z, which, I mean, he was an owner, but he dropped out. But he was only like maybe 1 to 3% stake involved in the Nets before he retired.
Exactly.
So it's like you just have to look at the overall mechanism.
I agree.
Everything within the country.
And again, I can only speak from experience, my experience, right? So although we only had 3 black police officers, our police chief was black. Shout out to Chief Grady, right? So, like, the chief of police was a black man. And, you know, he stood for everything that I thought was right? And so, again, some of us, and again, this goes back to the point that I made earlier. Some of us, like, there's a lack of representation in the community. So, you know, there are so many black people that are like, fuck the police. And I'm like, well, if it's fuck the police, then be the police. And how about you change the narrative?
So
Fuck the judge. Oh, well, how about you become a judge?
Yeah.
Fuck lawyers. Well, how about you become a lawyer and you rewrite the narrative of what it is to be a lawyer? Fuck my parole officer. Fuck politicians. Like, black people say, fuck these roles so much that we choose not to get involved at all and then get upset that we're being oppressed.
But
There's a lack of representation, bro.
There's a lack of representation, but I can't say that we choose to do nothing because you have plenty of black judges and black politicians.
Not enough.
It's not enough, but you can't.
I'm not saying that there's none, zero, but there are not enough.
It's not enough, but you can't say that's at the fault of the black community.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
It's not our fault because it's the system.
Okay, that's all.
The system was set up that way so that we couldn't get in. And that's why I respect and appreciate black cops, black judges, black doctors, black lawyers so much because it's a system that wasn't set up for us. Like, we weren't supposed to be in there in the first place. So the fact that you got in, I appreciate and respect you for that alone.
Austin, what you got to close this out with?
So it's three quick things. Number one, you really can't change the way someone thinks because people are going to think what they're going to think. You can only change the way that they think by leading by example. So to finish with the question is, what is the solution? Because if we just sit here and talk, whine, bitch, moan, complain about our issues and we're not actually putting in the effort, we're no different than The View. And I don't think those women actually do anything to change the culture of this company or of this country because they just talk and jab. We're not a podcast who just talks and jab. We're actually going to make a difference. So to end the question, we might pick it up next episode, but what do we do to change the solution? Because we don't just talk about it. We're going to put in the effort.
I think, and I'll just say this real quick to close it out. I think the thing is that when we talk about whine and complain, there's nobody really, I won't even call it whining and complaining, but there's nobody that really has anything to complain about but the minority. Because if you look at it from a minority standpoint, we got to keep knocking down this wall, keep knocking down this wall. We got to, you have a whole Facebook page that is degrading a black woman from being a mermaid.
They're still going to be racist.
Exactly,
I'm not saying that's right at all.
Always.
I'm not saying that's right at all.
I guess in my closing remarks, I guess it's hard. You can't say there's a way to stop complaining when there's multiple things that keep coming up
needs to be,
for
there needs to be a game plan
for the issue to be brought to face. Yeah. But that's how I told you, man. I had a deep conversation for us today. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Like Austin said, like, follow, subscribe to our YouTube, Instagram
you want to talk about
pages,
drop it in the comments.
Apple Podcasts. And until next episode, man, it's Whiskey Conversation Podcast.
Next time we'll have whiskey, hopefully.